This session is Quickstart 5. It is working with sellers, the listing presentation. If you are following in our series, we have Quickstart 1 through 6, and each of the sessions are recorded and put on our YouTube channel, as well as in the Google Classroom. If you want access to the Google Classroom, you just have to ask your manager for access, or myself, and I will add you to the people in the class. And that will give you access to some presentation material, the video, as well as some clickable links to some of the homework and different assignments that we do. Hopefully by the end of Quickstart 6, you'll have a full, full armament of tools to get you up and going in the real estate industry. And if you're an existing agent, it's just a good refresher in order to really look back at the foundations of a good business in real estate, making sure that you have a good business plan, that you're setting your goals and you're achieving those goals through action plans, and then having a good buying presentation, a good listing presentation, as well as knowing how to list a property, as well as put an offer together. So we take you through those classes just to make sure that you do have those foundations. We're going to go over some homework from last session. But first of all, I just want to show you how the Google Classroom works. If you're signed in as your Century 21 sign-in account in Google, top right-hand side, you can see that you're signed in. And then over to the side, the Google Apps will give you access to all the cloud apps that Google connects with that account. One of them being, if you scroll all the way down, is the Google Classroom. And when you click on the Classroom, you will have access to the ones that you have been invited to. Obviously, I have all 6 sessions here, all 6 quick starts. And if you click on classes, those are all of them there. Number 5 is working with sellers. That's what we're going to do today. And the first page is just there's an announcement board, so you can announce something to the class, but also if you click on classwork at the top, that's where you get access to the presentation and all the clickable links. On the front page, if you are meeting with your manager for Quickstart, you're probably either going to meet in person or through the meeting link in the top section here. Just it says meet link, and you click on there, and that's where you'll be on video with the manager, your coach. So click on Classroom to get going, and your presentation, the presentation I'm going to go through is the first clickable link. There is the video for this presentation. We're going to be videoing today and replacing last year's video. The material that is in the classroom today is going to be the listing presentation in PowerPoint, as well as the listing checklist. And then the videos we'd like you to watch this week is Listing with Spotlight. So there's a playlist of all the different features that Spotlight has. It's a great platform for a lot of your material for your presentation, but also, really how you're going to market the property online. So it's a great program. And then the creating a listing on Webforms video as well. So using Webforms for listing a property is there as well. So I'm going to click into the presentation now and go through the material. From last week's session, or session 4, we're going to have a review, talk about Webforms and the listing presentation, as well as a market evaluation. And one of our features for all our agents to use is Heritage Concierge by MoveSnap. And the secret to getting ahead is getting started. Mark Twain quote. And that is very relevant to the Quick Start program and making sure all the things are in place. So in saying that, the homework that we talk about every week is reviewing a minimum of 10 homes per week. So getting out there, if you're not able to go through the homes right now, that's okay. You should be on the Stratus or the Matrix system every day, at least twice. First thing in the morning, last thing at the end of the day. That keeps you up to date with what's happening, what's being listed, what's being sold that day. Make sure that you know the market, because when you're talking about what you're selling, you need to be educated and you need to know what's happening, and people will, in the back of their head, just kind of more, test you on that, but they will have a good feeling of whether or not you're the agent they're going to use, or trust that you know the market. Also, did you add another minimum of 10 more contacts into Remarketer? The Remarketer system is our CRM system that organizes your contact list, sends out marketing features, which is things like last month's newsletter, as well as special occasions. You can do tasks in there, reminders, as well as our print newsletter program as well. So, but we cannot do any of that unless you're organized with your contacts, your relationships. You should be in there, you're making notes and you're adding them. So you're in session 5 now, which means you've gone through 4 sessions. So you should have 40 contacts in there. Every session, 10 more contacts, and make sure that you have addresses, because they're really not a contact unless you have an address. Did you construct an offer and send it to your manager? So last session was session 3, putting together an offer. So Webforms was one of the videos, as well as getting that practice offer to your manager, and then you can review that with them to see how you did. And always best to do an offer ahead of time so that you have done it before your first one. Have you watched and attended the training for Webforms? Hopefully you have, because that would have helped you obviously construct that offer. So moving on, we're going to talk today about listing presentation. And you can't go on a listing presentation without your forms, okay? Because if you get the listing, you want to be able to sign them up. In Webforms, and you've watched that video hopefully, the last time you would have clicked on purchase of a residential freehold home, let's say, those are all the templates in Webforms. This time you're going to be clicking on listing of a residential freehold, if it's a freehold, condo, if it's a condo, etc. So there's also for sale and lease. So click on the for sale, that will have all your forms. All the forms associated with listing a property will be in there. Sorry about the quality there. You will see that when you go into Webforms. This is what it looks like in the Webform system. If you have any questions, of course, we have the video and call us anytime. But this is where you get the templates for the representation. Looks like I have a problem previewing one of my sheets here. So it's reloading that. I'm just going to, that's our presentation. So in the file that for some reason, this is not allowing me to view, is your listing presentation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over to Quickstart 5 and I'm going to click on the presentation, and that'll take us right in. And that is under material in the classroom, or you can go into, and that's the screen that we were missing there, the screen for where to find it in our drive. And so if you have access to our drive, you can get that through the Remarketer system, but you'll click on the drive and you'll just type in listing presentation. It's in our marketing folder, okay? And this is what you're going to get. This is the listing presentation that's in there. This is the version that is for digital, so it's wider. It's for a proper monitor, and we'll give you a great presentation with that. Now, you'll open it with, and I'm going to open this actually, with Google Slides. And the important thing when you do open the presentation is to save a copy of it. If you save a copy of, so it's just opening there, the presentation, you'll be able to modify it, okay? If you just have it as our version, you'll try and edit it and say, sorry, you're locked, you can't edit. So, and you want to be able to edit it and put your name in there, brand it for yourself. So you just go to the file, make a copy of the entire presentation, or you can download the full presentation in PowerPoint if you want to bring it in PowerPoint, or just keep it in slides. So slides is the easiest because it's available to us, no extra cost, etc., and fully editable. Okay, so you'll make a copy and then you'll be able to edit it. Now I'm going to take you through the presentation, and I'm not going to do the full presentation. And again, Quickstart is for exactly that, quickly getting up and going with a listing presentation. Have the confidence of knowing what you're presenting. You can edit it, you can make it your own, but the full listing presentation video is available on YouTube. I'm going to go through it very quickly just to explain that there are certain slides that I like to see in a presentation, and you decide whether or not you're going to have it in there. So I'm going to hit present. Hopefully you'll be able to see my screen okay. I'm going to go through each slide and just give you a quick overview of why I have each slide in there. So first of all, the first one, just something visually great to, a nice picture of a renovated home here. The second slide is the introduction of who you are. So your first, last name is going to be there. Talk a little bit about yourself. Talk a little bit about your office and your team, the fact that we do have a large, and we can change that to over 700 now, sales professionals in the areas that surround Tottenham, Bradford, Newmarket, Richmond Hill, Thornhill, and out in Hamilton. So we're 33 years in the business, number 2, 13th worldwide, number 2 in Canada. you can go through that. It gives them confidence, especially if you're a newer agent, that they're working with a group that have all the experience in the world, marketing, property, to get them more money, and a great network of agents to help do that. Every slide that you're going to go through in a listing presentation, as a tip, you should have a feature, advantage, and benefit. In sales training, when you're selling yourself, you're selling your value, you really want to really point on their motivation in order to choose you as a realtor. And most motivations of sellers, the number one motivation is that they're going to get more money for their house. You're going to do a good job marketing, promoting the house, and making them more money in the end. And when you get to commission, what's more important, the 5,000 that you'll save because the person will do it for an extra 0.5%, or the 50,000 you're going to do because of all the things you're going to do in these slides. So as you're going through, make sure you let them know global reach, especially when you're doing a listing presentation. 57% of the agents, or 50% of the residents in the GTA are non-Canadian born. So they're coming from different countries. It's very, very important that we are networked amongst the different countries, that we have that brand recognition across the world. So people already trust the brand. And where they're putting an offer in on a house that's over $1 million, they want to trust that that process is going to be done properly, right? Both with us and any of the buyers that come into the to purchase the property. So we're going to be marketing to buyers, and this our brand gives the buyers the confidence. We also have a Century 21 global website, so your listing is going to be listed on that global website to all those countries, which again brings in more eyeballs, more showings, which will create a higher price. Okay, and you're always going to go back to price. The MLS benefits. Now, I do talk about MLS in the slide, the difference between MLS and why we have an internal system with our realtors. Essentially, this overcomes the people that might be considering going with somebody like maybe private, right? So I like to talk about the MLS and what the differences are and the importance of it. We had an exclusive network for Broker Bay. You might want to take this slide out. We do still list our properties exclusively on our exclusive network, but it's now internal as well as internal within the company. And you'll be on our exclusive site on our Heritage website as well, with the 700 agents having access to those exclusive listings coming soon, etc. So we do have a platform to do that. Broker Bay is no longer providing that platform, as they are now with Treb and providing the full. It was one of the conditions that Treb made, that if they're going to do our full system, just so you know, that they will not have an exclusive network. So this slide can change. The next slide I have in here is called Stage Your Home for Sale. I talk about staging a lot when I was selling. Staging was one of my very top features. I want to make sure they get the more money for their home. So when I'm talking about staging, it's an investment. I make the investment in terms of bringing in a stager and providing that report for my sellers. If they choose to actually have their house staged or rent any of the stuff, that's something you can negotiate. It's up to you whether or not you bring that into your fold of the services you provide or not. And that's, of course, your decision. But the most important thing is for them to realize they will get more money for their house if it shows fantastic. I always tell a story of fruits on you go into a supermarket, you got fruits on the stand, and you've got the sale bin that's been there for 2 weeks, and the bananas are starting to go a little brown, and you've got the brand new ones that are all shined up, the new shiny apples. If you are on the shiny side of things, you're full price, right? Or more. And then you've got your for sale bin, and you don't want to be on the for sale bin, which is the ones that are bruised and brown. So make sure that the house shows fantastic. And then I go through all the ways that I do that. Again, more money for the house. Showcasing your home with all the feature sheets. Everything I do there's no stone unturned. Everything gets a full 100% with me. So professional photography, et cetera, I go through that in that slide. Agent public open houses. Again, if we can have people through open houses, and depending on whether or not you're doing open houses, is that you will potentially have an opportunity for more people to come through, see the house, which means more money in the end for them. We're trying to generate as many visitors to the property in a small amount of time. So a small window of time during a listing, so that you will generate hopefully the highest price and possibly get into more than one offer, which would be great. And the difference between one offer and 4 offers can be $100,000 or more. So make sure that you do everything you can in order to convince them that you're bringing more people through. And open houses is one of them. And of course, online technology. I spend a lot of time talking about how I do the online technology for you, for anyone. It doesn't matter. We're all on the same playing field when it comes to technology, because we do have the Spotlight marketing system. This system will ensure that those, not only will it be a great experience for a buyer to come in and see all the pictures, video to virtual tours, the schools and the walk scores and all the great things. And you can do Matterport tours, you can do drone photography, you can use your own photography, you can use somebody that Spotlight uses. It's up to you. It's fully flexible, but what you're doing is you're getting a platform that will be found on Google in the top page, possibly up to 4 times. That's where we're sort of averaging. So that gets more traffic to you as the real estate agent. It also has a statistical background. If you log into Spotlight to find out how many people have viewed your site. And if you're doing enough online to promote that and you're being found on the first page, you're going to get more views. And I always show that as a weekly report to my sellers, that realtor.ca got 250 views, but I created an extra 250. So I'm up to 500 views on my Spotlight marketing site, which means the marketing's working. I've doubled the amount of views. If I double the amount of views, statistically, that doubles the amount of showings, which means it doubles the amount of people interested in putting an offer in. And we know the difference between, again, 2 and 4 offers, 4 and 8 offers, and that could be $50,000 to $100,000. That's your value and really driving traffic to get their home sold. Again, going back into more of the technology features with Spotlight, and there's a ton of it, different languages, automatically changing to that language when they speak a different language. So the experience that a buyer will go through, they'll want to see the property. They'll want to come out and view it. Again, views create offers, more money, and we have statistics to prove it. So in this case study, we sold on average our properties in the Spotlight marketing program 26% more. So which in this case was $12,600 on $1 million listing. But I will tell you the difference these days between, again, 2 and 4 offers is huge. So it'll be even more than that. The buyer targeted advertising, I do send out just listed flyers to the area and around the home. Again, more opportunity for neighbors to pick their neighbors, bring in people, more offers, more money. Keeping you informed. The important thing is that we are a team. I want to give you the feedback and results of my marketing every single day, at least for the first week, weekly updates, etc. And of course, the negotiations, talking about how much I emphasize getting them more money. So negotiations nowadays is, if it's more than one offer, there is negotiating. It's a matter of being organized and matter of letting everybody know when the offer and how many offers and how it's going down, and the being organized is going to get them more money as well. So negotiations, very important, and you can touch on that in that screen. After they've sold their property, we'll help them move with our Concierge by MoveSnap program. I'll be going over that a little bit later, and our in-house financing as well. So again, going through these slides, touch on everything that, and I'm going through quick, right? You're going to spend a couple hours with them. This is my gift screen, whatever you're giving as a gift and a thank you for using the service. In this case, we have the resort vacation certificates worth about $1,500 for a week stay at, let's say, Mont Tremblant, for example. It costs you $289. So it's just another gift that we can give to our clients for their service, and referrals for that matter. We have other discounts, part of the presentation, and then you finish it off and ask them if they have any questions. Usually what I like to do is get a lot of those at yeses. Are you happy with the way I market the property? Are you happy with the way that I'm going to get you more money for the property? Are you happy with me? Would you like to sign? So yes, yes, yes. Yeah, we're ready to sign. And you get the listing. So that's the idea of a listing presentation. Again, gone through very quickly, but it gives you a great overview. And again, our listing presentation is available to you, so you don't have to create anything from scratch, right? Everyone should have a listing presentation. This one is our online version. There is a printable version as well that we can create for you and have printed. I love feeling the paper, and I think a lot of people do. So leaving a book behind is obviously a good idea as well. I'm going to go back over to our presentation. Let's just see here. We're going to skip that slide that had a problem previewing and go right to a listing checklist. Now, this listing checklist is found in Quickstart 5 as well as in the drive as well. The reason why I used to always do a listing marketing checklist, I'd actually rename it even when I don't have the listing yet. So if I'm on a listing presentation, I'd say, by the way, here's everything I do when I list a house. And I want you to keep me even, in check. This is, my guarantee that I'm going to do everything I say I'm going to do, because here's a checklist and I want you to follow it with me. And I'll go through it as we go through what we do ahead of time in the pre-listing. And I'm going to switch over just real quick, kind of get out of this screen and go into the listing checklist. So bring that up. So here's the listing checklist that's connected in the drive, pre-listing activities. So I'm not going to go through everything in here, but here's the list of things on the pre-listing that we do, right? Market analysis and spotlight, lawn sign, list of properties, full out listing agreement, et cetera, et cetera. The first day on the market, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to load it in the morning, double check everything, send you a copy of the property listing, all the photos, check signage is installed, ensure everything was done correctly, feature sheets, lockbox. It's a great listing checklist. Week 1 of the listing, just off a little, property listed through the Century 21 Global site, agent open houses, network sites, et cetera, et cetera. Every week after that listing, this is what I've done. This is what I do. There's one on here that we have to take off, so I'll make that correction, but the rerun the listing to stimulate possible buyers, we can't do that anymore in TREB. So I just point a note, they will not allow us to rerun listings. So take that one off, right? Presentation of offer, what I do to present the offer, paperwork requirements, that's for you, right? This is for you to check mark that I've got all these things. So that's a nice little listing checklist that's within our drive, and it helps you. Every single time I've done a listing presentation, this has changed. Okay, every listing marketing checklist will be different based on what I'm doing for that property. Sometimes I'll do a drone, sometimes I'll do staging, sometimes I'll do cleaning instead of staging, or so there's different things based on what that property needs. So just modify it every time. And what I also do is I'll usually go in there and put the date I did it, put done, the date it was done, etc. It's also great for teams and listing assistants and stuff like that to get an assistant going through making sure your listing is done. So it's a really multifaceted checklist. I will change it to called the listing proposal. So I'll do a marketing proposal for 123 Main Street. And then I'll include this in my listing presentation. It really shows your organization. It gives them confidence in knowing that you're actually going to do what you say you're going to do and that you're organized to do it. They are often, as sellers, concerned that you're not going to follow through on the things, or they just don't know what you're going to be doing. So that's a really good one as well. So that's I've put that in the material in the classroom. And again, it's available on our drive as well, if you're looking for it. Okay, so we went through the listing marketing checklist, and now we're going to talk about market evaluations. Market evaluations are super important. When you're doing a listing presentation, a lot of people will actually, not make the decision on real estate agent to use, but it will come very highly in the criteria that people are looking for. Overcoming the fact that somebody said they'll be able to sell it for more money. So doing a proper market evaluation will statistically prove what the house is worth, and they'll put a lot of weight on that. So my suggestion: do a full listing presentation through your in this case it's Stratus that John uses. Go into the YouTube channel and or the classroom, click on the link because it's in there as well. The video to watch is the CMA with John Smolders. The 4 things that John really focuses on when doing a proper CMA is doing the research so you know the answers. You'll know you've lost the listing presentation when they ask you the question, well, what about the one that sold on John Street that was very similar to our house last week? And you go, which one on John Street? You've lost the listing. Done. Don't do it. You have the best listing presentation in the world. You can do it for free and they wouldn't hire you. Bottom line, you might as well walk out at that point. And I've been in that situation. So do your research. The one that sold over on John Street went for $685. It wasn't quite as comparable because it did have the finished basement. Yours is a 4-bedroom, theirs was a 3-bedroom, and you have a much bigger yard. So I've taken that into consideration when I did my CMA. And if you have a look here, I took the adjustments into place, and actually yours is probably worth about $850 compared to this one. Or don't focus on the $850 actually. Focus on the fact that it is different and it's in this range, and have them come up with their price, right? The important thing to do when you're doing a market evaluation is to give as much information as possible. So do the research, know the neighborhood, bring your report that's personalized with your information on it that you've done the research, and choose the top 3 sold comparables and say, here's 1, 2, 3. Where does yours sit in? What do you think your house is worth? Right. And they'll say, well, what we brought you in because to see what yours is worth. I said, yeah, no, I get that. And I've got a number and a range, but I sort of wanted to give you the same information that I looked at and see if we're on the same page, and try and have that conversation. So market evaluation is super important. Watch John's creating a proper CMA. John I'm pretty sure still is a certified appraisal. He used to be an appraiser. So, and he did that great job of that presentation. So that's one of your homework assignments. The next thing is to know a little bit more about the Spotlight Marketing Program. Again, there is a clickable link in the classroom for all the playlists for the Spotlight Marketing, so you can see all the features. Here's an overview of some of the features. Obviously, professional photography, customized listing brochures, the website that really is syndicated to so many different sites and is done in a way that as soon as you order it, it creates it ahead of the listing. So when the listing gets up, you're the first one to have that content, and Google will see that as the one that everyone else is copying. So it gives a lot of all the techie SEO type stuff. They're doing that for you. So the advanced leads capture, so making sure they have stuff like chat with me feature, the unique toll-free number that you can put on the top of your sign if you order a sign writer with the 1-800 sign. Audio over, so your description over video, they do the audio for that and they put it on YouTube. So just a ton of things in there in order to properly market your property online. It's not just a virtual tour. Anyone that's saying that they're doing better photography or something in a virtual tour, that's great. Do the photography, but still buy the package. It's $125 for the package. If you want photography, it's like $210. But trust me when I say the package, even for $125, just to put your photography into, it makes a huge difference from a Google standpoint, a lead standpoint, and the way that it's displayed on there. You'll get more calls and more showings. The Heritage Concierge by MoveSnap is the next slide, and we have a program. We partnered with MoveSnap and said every one of our agents should get an account. The reason why this is so important is when I was selling, I didn't have this. We put this in place about 5 years ago. I sold about 10 years ago. And when I was selling, the awkward time was between when you were firming up a property. So you firmed up and did a deal. Congratulations, you've sold your property. And then you've got 2 months before closing. And you say, have a nice day. And they don't hear from you for 2 months. Hopefully there's reasons to call, but there's not a lot of them. And MoveSnap takes over from there and gives them a portal in order to log in and help them with their move. All the things like organizing a moving truck and calling ahead and getting all the transfer of utilities and your government ID and all that sort of stuff. It's like a digital checklist and it helps them through the process. It's got some really neat features in there. And in order to get that, we do automate the process. So we will send an auto email out on your behalf to your client, but you need to tell your client it's coming. Most clients will not click on something they don't know about. So you have to educate them and let them know it's coming. You do have the ability to send out your own invites if you'd like as well. So when you're in Remarketer, you can click on Heritage Concierge by MoveSnap, and that will connect you as well to that portal and allow you to oversee that process. Gives you a reason to call them and stay in touch as well throughout the moving process. How's everything going? Have you been on MoveSnap? Have you done your, your switchover of your utilities? They love that type of service. It gets you referrals. It really is part of the whole selling system that we have and you have. So that gives you a great overview of all the things that you should use and have in place with regards to having a great listing presentation. If you have any questions, of course, you'll be speaking to your coach, your manager about them. You do have homework this session, so keep seeing homes. You need to know the market. Add a minimum of 10 more contacts, so you'll be up to 50 in your remarketer system. Your book of business needs to start to grow, and you need to make those phone calls. Make the phone calls. It is so important. Watch CMA with John Smolders on YouTube. Send your manager the CMA when it's completed. So you're going to go through that video and you're going to do a CMA, and you're going to do that on your own house, a friend's house, pick a house online, just do a CMA, and then sit down with your manager and show them and go through it with them. Prepare and hand in your listing presentation. You should have that listing presentation. It's in 2 versions on the drive, right? One is the digital version and one is a printed. I suggest doing both. Get it printed, have it on hand. Anytime somebody wants to list their house, you say, no problem. How's tonight at 8, or would tomorrow at 8 be better? And you'll get a presentation tonight or tomorrow and it'll be ready to go. So log into heritageconcierge.ca, try out the demo. There is a demo in there for the MoveSnap program. So you can sign in and hit demo so you can see what your client's going to go through. And then schedule that last quick start session with your manager. I think ours is either next week or the week after for Quick Start 6 that we'll do on video as well. And remember, opportunities are usually disguised as hard work, so most people don't recognize them. Little sarcasm there, but the fact is yes, you are going to need to do some hard work. And these homework assignments, if you get them done by the end of Quick Start, you will be far and ahead, probably ahead of most agents in their first 5 years in the business, because even the agents that are successful are still not doing the foundational things really well, and it's costing them time and money. So get these things done well. And if you have any questions, you can contact myself or your coach manager at any time. Thank you so much for watching. If you like our video, please hit the like button, the subscribe, and even the little bell to get notifications, just so you can stay in touch and watch more of these great videos.